So this is a short, hopefully, little video just to kind of help you make your fitness, exercise and training a lot easier and a lot more simple. So the things that we're going to cover today, I'm going to try and make this as straightforward and as stripped back as possible. Is how your body really works. So I'm going to kind of briefly go through what's really happening when you exercise, when you're stressed, when you're tired, and then you can see, leading on from that, the common mistakes that a lot of us make that mean that we don't make as much progress as we want, or we don't want to exercise, or we're inconsistent, or we procrastinate. And hopefully when we put those two together, you'll kind of see where most people are going wrong. I think if we look at the stats that are out at the moment, it's quite frightening, the amount of inactive people in the country. The message is getting lost somewhere. Maybe it's the wrong message to the wrong people at the wrong time. But people aren't as active, and those who are active aren't enjoying it and is getting as much benefit as really we ought to. So hopefully this is going to really clear up some of those common mistakes so that you avoid making them. We're going to look at some principles that once you understand these principles, you can really apply these to anything. So you can, whether it's a home gym, a regular, mainstream, high street gym, hotel, office block, outdoor, you can exercise anywhere, anytime with no stress and no fuss and with minimal equipment. So once you know the principles, you don't need to worry about the details and the complexity of it all. We're going to talk briefly about something called your exercise personality to make sure that what you're doing you look forward to and that you're enjoying, and it really fits in with you and who you are as a person and the life that you want to live. I'd say a lot of us find exercise hard because we're not aligned. There's a mismatch between what we're trying to make ourselves do and actually what we really want and who we really are. And that means that we're then left to rely on willpower and needing more motivation. Now, really, for me, if you say that you need more willpower or you're just not motivated, it's probably because you're trying to make yourself do something that you really don't want to do. Whereas people who have unlimited motivation have that real passion, that real connection, and that want to do stuff. And that, in the most simplified way, is the reason why some people succeed and some people fail. We're going to cover the 6 main moves that you need to master and really just to be aware of, again, to really make exercise simple and effective. Once you know these 6 moves, again, I promise you'll be able to do them anytime, anywhere, and be able to see progress quicker than you've ever seen before. And then we're going to put it together with a bit of an action plan, just so you get some pointers and some ideas about what you can do going forwards. So first off, thanks for coming on to this. So I'm going to try and keep this to around about half an hour, so I'm going to try and keep it quite concise. If you have any questions, comments or feedback, please do let me know. I am a real person. It just takes a comment or a message to get in touch with me. I will be more than happy to speak to you one-to-one, or to answer any questions or queries or anything you're not quite understood. So please let me know. Any kind of online workshop that we all do is only as effective as the stuff that we actually implement. So what I would hate would be for you to watch this and then not take any action. So if you need any help, any clarity or anything, any ongoing support, please, please, please let me know. All right, so the problems that a lot of us are having right now with their exercise, and I say most people, I think it's something like 8 out of 10 people in the UK aren't as active as they need to be for their health. So because of that, we are out of shape, we're unfit, we're unhappy, we're underconfident. We're just not taking action, so our health is suffering because of it, and there is a real epidemic going on. We are bigger than we should be. We're unhealthy. There's a lot more what we call metabolic illnesses like diabetes, heart disease, strokes, stuff which is preventable once you look after your health. And really, it's because I think because we're getting confused and overwhelmed by all the mixed messages that are out there. There's so much information out there, and if it doesn't take too long to see, most of it's conflicting and opposing. What you read on Monday as the best thing for you to do is going to kill you on Tuesday. Whether this is diet or exercise, or really anything, there's so many different interpretations, different perspectives, that it's really hard to navigate through the minefields. You know, I've done this for 21 years now, and there's times when I get confused. And it really, really doesn't help. So what I'm going to try and do today is to really simplify as much as I can that 21 years worth of my brain and it out onto the screen to help you guys. A lot of us have no time, no energy, no confidence. You know, those are the most common reasons why we don't take consistent exercise. People don't enjoy it. And because of all of these things, we don't take consistent action. Exercise is beneficial when you are consistent with it. Because you don't take consistent action, you don't get good at it. And because you don't get good at it, you don't want to do it again. And there's a very, very clear distinction. People who do well enjoy it, they look forward to it, and they're good at it. You know, we all do stuff that we're good at. I don't play the trumpet because I'm rubbish at music. It wasn't something that I enjoyed at school. It wasn't something that I kind of wanted to do or completely engaged about doing. So as such, I can't play a musical instrument. Now, if someone said to me, Gray, you know, all you got to do is play the trumpet for half an hour every day, and you're going to be in really good shape, and you'll add 10 years to your life. Okay, my brain understands that could happen, but I don't want to do it because I don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't want to go back and learn from scratch and have to learn to read music and learn how to put together the tunes and the heart, and it's too much for my brain to take on board. Even though I know it's good, my brain is saying, you can't do it, you haven't done it before, this is not going to work for you. So our brains have this mismatch, and that's very often what happens when we know what to do, but we don't do it. Intellectually, there's part of our brain, the main thinking part of our brain, that completely understands that we need to go for a half an hour walk every day, we need to get 10,000 steps, we need to weight train, we need to be active and exercise and challenge our body and sweat and raise our heart rates and eat healthy, and get to sleep on time and chill out. And we intellectually, we know this. Watching this, you know exactly what to do. There is no doubt you know what to do, but there's part of our brain that holds you back from doing it, and that part of your brain doesn't feel good enough, doesn't feel that you're going to do it, doesn't feel that you're going to benefit from it, so it doesn't see the point in doing it. If you want to see success, you've got to be consistent, and that means starting small, gradually increasing what you do so that it's stretching you a little bit, but it's not intimidating, and then you want to see progress and you want to do it again. Yeah. So these problems exist because of something called neuroassociative conditioning, or NAC. Now that sounds like a big scary word. It basically means that your brain is learning all the time and is linking things together. So we are forever having an experience, and then your brain is remembering it for next time. Right, was that painful or was it pleasurable? Forever linking these things. So if your brain has probably, again, just assuming at this point, gone, right, a glass of wine makes me feel relaxed. So your brain fires and wires these two things together. Glass of wine, feeling relaxed. So that when you are stressed and your brain goes, right, what do I want? I want to feel relaxed. Right, have a glass of wine. For a lot of people, we have fired and wired exercise with pain. Exercise with being boring, with it being punishing, with being judged about being good enough, whether we've associated exercise with being uncomfortable, time-consuming, something we'll probably fail at, something that we're not very good at. And so because our brains are linking exercise to pain, it's no wonder we don't want to do it. Who would want to choose to be punched in the face? You wouldn't want to do it. It's your brain doing its job and avoiding things that are painful. So we need to reverse that. We need to look at, right, how can we get a positive neuroassociation going on between exercise, fitness, training, being healthy, eating well, whatever you want to do. How can you be positive with this? How can you want to do it? How can you do it so it's enjoyable, so it's not painful, so it doesn't feel like you're being punished, so that it's quick, easy, and accessible? That's something that you can do. Does it feel that you can actually do this and succeed from doing this? Now, to help you out, we've got something called the 3 levels of fitness. Now, this is very important to be open, honest, and truthful about where you are. Now, level 1 is the complete beginner, somebody who's has maybe exercised in the past, but is inconsistent. They're just okay. Things are okay. They probably aren't doing this regularly. They don't particularly enjoy it. It's something which they know is important, but they don't do it. Level 2 is someone who's on off. So you may have a spurt of exercise. You may do something for 8 to 12 weeks. You may sign up for a program. You stick to it, but the program finishes, and then you go back to normal again. And for the most part, you know what you're doing. You can walk into a gym or a health club or an exercise class, and you don't feel out of place, but you just lack that ongoing consistency. And then level 3 is a pro. It's someone who's paid to be in shape. It's a fitness trainer, it's a model, it's a performer, it's a social media influencer. It's someone who's just forever posting on Instagram or Facebook their meals and their exercise stuff. Those are level 3s. Those are the guys who are good at exercise, who enjoy it, who look forward to it, and whose life revolves around it. You need to make sure that the advice that you're taking, the articles you're reading, and the stuff that you're listening to and absorbing is aimed at the right level. Picture of The Rock here. So Dwayne Johnson, big time movie star. This was actually from today. This was actually on his Facebook or Insta post today. This is brand new. I was like, that is perfect. And this is him after 18 weeks of disciplined diet and intense training. Obviously, this guy is the best in shape actor in the world. This guy is huge. But if you read down into what's going on, it's thanks to his team. He has an entire inner circle. He's got NASA scientists working with him to be in the best possible shape. He's got his strength and conditioning coach. He's going to have a dietitian, health and wellness, balance, consistency, and execution. It's all part of a team that get him looking like that. He does not do this on his own. He does not have a 9-to-5 job. He doesn't have to do the school run. He doesn't have to pay the mortgage. He doesn't have to worry about anything other than looking like The Rock. If you follow The Rock's program, you will not look like him. This is the same with the guys on Instagram and Facebook who look amazing. When all you have to do is to look good and be in shape, it's really, really, really easy. When you have other stuff to juggle, it's simply not the same. It's a level 3 person trying to tell a level 1 person, just do what I do. And that is so, so common in the fitness industry. You have to understand the advice you're getting, is it applicable to the person who's receiving the advice? This is something which I call the research trap as well. Now, a lot of people will use research as an argument for doing the best thing. Personally, I don't believe there is a best thing. There's a thing, and it works for you or it doesn't. There's no 100% best way of doing anything. So I personally don't buy too much into research, especially because it's probably not applicable to me. Now, if you think about it, most research is done on, particularly like sports and fitness, 18 to 24-year-olds, commonly university students. What works for them is not going to work for a 35-year-old mum of 2 who's struggling to pay the mortgage and pay the bills. It ain't going to work. Different approaches for different people. The 22-year-old newly qualified fitness trainer who's enthusiastic and keen, but is trying to tell a 42-year-old what to do with their life and how to exercise based on what they do. It ain't gonna work. You have to know what works for you. And a good trainer will be able to recognize that. A bad trainer will simply give you what they do. It's easy. Just do what I do. How many times do you see that? Just do what I do and you'll look like me. You won't. You won't. Okay. The history of the fitness world. And this is, again, building up the mistakes, and then hopefully when we can do this, you can see where we're going wrong with stuff. There's 3 strands to fitness, right? So there's your experience of PE. Again, a lot of us, when it comes back to school days, would have been punished if we were late by running laps around the field or having to do push-ups as a punishment. If you forgot your kit, You'd have had to do it in your underwear. You may have been picked last, or never scored the winning goal, or never been on the winning team. All this while, you're neuro associating exercise with pain and punishment. So it's not fun for a lot of people. A lot of people I work with, when you talk about school days and their experience of PE, it's really negative and it's really put people off. Again, the people who do really well and who are active all the time generally have pretty positive experiences of PE. Aerobics. 70s, 80s and 90s, typical aerobics. You know, the kind of Jane Fonda kind of generation. What were we taught? No pain, no gain. Feel the burn. Keep pushing through it. It's all pain. It's more pain, more punishment. You then got the military style. Now, most of the early pioneers of personal training were all ex-military. Now, ex-military trainers are very hard-nosed, very do this, because their job is to get every single recruit to a same standard. And this is where we get the classic 3 sets of 10. So the traditional method has evolved from the early trainers who were ex-military, whose job was to standardize people to be the same, to create little clones of each other. This is where you get the kind of classic 3 sets of 10. So if you can do 3 sets of 10 at this weight, or 3 sets of 10 push-ups, you are good enough to be part of this troop. In the military, it's essential that you do that. It is absolutely essential that you have this baseline standard where everybody is at least a minimum level, and you know that the guy next to you is going to be able to help you out if you get in trouble. In regular life, this is not applicable. Most of us don't want to be standardized. We don't want to be like the next person next to us. We need to work with our brains, bodies, and nervous systems to improve by our own standards that we define as to what's good enough and what we want, not on some arbitrary number that someone's made up that determines whether or not you're good enough. We need to know ourselves what makes us happy and what makes us fit by our own definitions. And say most of the time in fitness, it's some arbitrary number that someone's dreamt up because it's easy. Again, 3 sets of 10. If you do 9, does that mean you failed? If you do 11, are you going to die? No. It's a random number that people have picked out because it's easy. It's easy to count. It's easy to remember. It doesn't mean anything physiologically. All right. This next session is how our bodies really work. Now, when we can understand this and put it together with the common mistakes, we should really see why most of the time we're missing the mark. We've got 2 parts of our nervous system, essentially. There's something called the sympathetic. Now, this is the system which gets our bodies ramped up. So it's triggers when we're stressed. So when we have to react and move quickly, the sympathetic nervous system is the one that gets us there. And it triggers what we call the fight, flight, or freeze response. So the fight is when you have to have a fight. You've got to get your fists out and you've got to fight your way out of trouble. Flight is when you need to run away, where you know you can't win the fight, so the best course of action is to run as fast as you can. And freeze is where you're so overwhelmed that you don't know what to do, so you do nothing. It's the kind of classic deer in headlights situation. Can't decide whether to go left or right, so just freezes. If we think about what's happening with most of us, we put things off until Monday, or we wait until payday, or we wait until I've got more energy, or I wait until this, or I wait until I know what I'm doing. It's a freeze response. You're doing nothing. You're putting things off. I kept meaning to do it. You froze. You were too overwhelmed. You didn't clearly know what to do, so you did what you always do. It's a stress response. If you get angry, uptight, frustrated, wound up, irritable, short-tempered, that's a fight response. And if you feel defensive, like people are picking on you, having a go at you all the time, that nothing you do is ever good enough, that you can't keep up, that you're not part of something, that's a flight response. Your aim is to kind of run away from that and to protect yourself. So the sympathetic system prepares us to react to the external world in response to a threat or a stress. It's a reaction. The opposite side is what we call the parasympathetic, which is our rest and digest system. And this is where our energy gets focused internally. So our body gets concerned with digesting and absorbing food. So our gut starts to work. Our muscles start to grow and to develop because we're focusing on us. Any kind of conflict, arguments, being malnourished, dehydration, fatigue are all causes of stress and threat, and so they will trigger the sympathetic fight, flight, or freeze response. I hope that makes sense. For the most part, exercise is another stressor to add to this. So we're taking an already stressed system and we're adding more stress to it. To me, that doesn't work. Stress means that we are on the whole time. So this is where we get inflammation and irritation, muscle soreness, joint ache, IBS, constipation, diarrhea, headaches, migraines, because our brains are on all the time and our bodies are burning out. Because we're then not listening because of all the stuff that we should do, we're then adding more and more stress, more and more pressure to this already overloaded system. It's the complete opposite of what we need. Think about it. When we can't breathe, we die. If there's a threat of us dying, we're gonna get stressed. Most exercise causes us to be out of breath. Now, if you're already stressed, your subconscious brain is gonna want more oxygen, not less. So it's not gonna want you to be out of breath and struggling to breathe. It's not gonna want you to be exerting yourself because it's already frazzled and close to burnout. So we're adding more stress to an already stressed system. Can you see where we're starting to go wrong now? And then because we can't do it, because we're not performing at our best, we don't feel we can keep up with the group or what the instructor is barking at us to do. Or we're not having as much fun as we should be having because the pictures in the brochure said we should be enjoying this. So it's adding more stress, adding more pressure all the time, and literally our brains need to find this balance. And this is a really, really key thing to understand, is that we are constantly looking for balance between three things. Your physiology, what your body needs, your psychology, what your brain needs, and your sociology, which is what we need socially to fit in with our lifestyle. Before you start exercise, we need to start to figure out what your needs are for each of these three things. So we look at what your body needs. Your body needs challenge. It needs to raise its heart rate by at least 20 beats a minute. We need resistance training. We need freedom of movement to be able to move freely and effortlessly. And we need what's called integrated movement. And this is using your brain and body together. So you have to think about it. So it's kind of complicated movements that have to engage you and you have to think about. A lot of us, you see it all the time in gyms, people that jump on a bike reading a magazine. They're not engaged. They're doing an exercise class, but they're thinking about what to get the kids for tea, or the email they haven't written. There's no integration. Their minds are somewhere else, their bodies are somewhere different. We need to exercise in a way where everything comes together and you're really engaged with what you're doing at the time. So everything needs to be integrated and put as one. It needs to be one whole system working together to achieve one task. So your body needs to be in a position where it can deal with this. And this is why we need to balance things off. So if you're stressed in your lifestyle, your exercise needs to be more relaxed and more chilled out. So if you are, working 50, 60 hours a week, high pressure, high stress job, go into like a military style boot camp or a HIIT class or a high intensity spinning where you're pushing your body even further, it's just giving you more stress. We need to balance it by giving you calm. So if you are constantly on the go, there's something like a yoga or a Pilates or a more mind-body kind of style class will do your body the world of good. You will make more progress by slowing down than you will by trying to speed up. If you are on your own, you work from home, you spend most of the time chilled and relaxed and by yourself, to balance your recreation and your exercise needs to be more sociable, more upbeat, more energetic to get the balance. Does that make sense? So if your stress levels are here, the stuff that you choose to do needs to be down here. If your home life is down here, exercise needs to be up here, so that you're balancing off your life. We talked about life balance the whole time. This is literally what it means. If your work is stressed, recreation needs to be chilled. If work is chilled, recreation needs to be a bit more challenging. All right, the psychology. I'm going to keep this brief because this I could talk about for hours. Balancing your brain is about balancing the left and right hemispheres. Now, your brain is split into two. There's two parts to it. Typically, the left brain, the left-hand side, is more logical, scientific, more analytical, more based around order, logic, intelligence. So it's kind of much more organized and predictable. The right side, to contrast that, is more artistic, it's more creative, it's a bit more random, it's a bit more kind of, what's the right word? I don't know, a bit more floaty. And we need to balance those things off. If you're just left brain, everything at work is scientific and logical and straight, order and predictable, let's make your exercise the opposite. Personally, I'm quite right-brained. I'm quite creative. I like things to be expressive and, energetic. The thought of doing something where I have to write everything down isn't going to fit with me at all. So if I have to write down everything I'm eating, everything I'm doing, I'm not going to want to do it for long. So we need to be matching our preferences for what we're doing. If you are very artistic and very creative, something like, bodybuilding and weight training where you have to be really into the details, it's not going to float your boat. You're not going to want to do it for long. So calorie counting is going to be completely out. If you like the numbers, if you like spreadsheets and that really kind of makes you feel comfortable at home, then that sort of approach will work for you. Introvert, extrovert is really to do with how you recharge your energy. It's not to do with how outgoing or how shy you are. It's about how you recharge. Now, personally, I'm an introvert. I feel better and I can recharge my batteries when I'm on my own, when I'm in nature, when I've got peace, quiet, and solitude. Other people are more extroverts, so they actually feel better by being more social and more energized by people, noise, and stimulation. And both of those are equally cool. You don't have to try and be one or the other. They're both cool. Whatever you are is who you are. Embrace that. So we need to know what you're challenged by. And if you are naturally introverted, then going to like a high energy dance class where everybody's singing and chanting and whooping is going to turn you off. Likewise, if you're an extrovert who likes the noise and stimulation, then going for a long walk in nature or sitting for a mindfulness class or a meditation is going to be the longest hour of your life. There's just not enough stimulation for you. So we need to know how your brain's working. Masculine, feminine energy is nothing to do with sex or gender, just to be very, very clear. This is about kind of energy out or energy in. There are ways of working out where you are getting rid of energy that we've all experienced, where you're sweating, you're out of breath, and you're putting energy out into the world. There's also ways of receiving energy, so ways of working in, where actually you calm down and you are not putting energy out, you're drawing it and receiving it back in. And again, if you're all day talking and giving stuff to other people, doing an exercise program where you're doing the same thing in recreation, it's not going to help you too much. We need to be then drawing that inwards and say there are ways of exercising in ways that give you energy, not take it away from you. For exercise to stick, it has to be interesting and engaging. It has to grab your attention. It's got to be enjoyable and fun. If it feels like punishment, painful, boring, restrictive, judgmental, you're not going to want to do it for long. And like we said earlier on, if you don't want to do it for long, you're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. It's got to satisfy these things. Socially, it's got to fit with your lifestyle. You may have joined the best gym in town, but if it's 5 miles away from your house and you've got to fight your way through traffic to get there, you're not going to go consistently. It's got to be time efficient. It's got to fit in with your life. It's got to be social. So it's got to be something that your friendship group sees as almost like normal. And it's got to be easy and accessible to you. So it's got to be easily done. No hassle, no fuss. Because again, if you're stressed and tired, exhausted from work, you're going to want to take the easy option with this. So make sure your choices of exercise fit those things. Okay, so that's what we're aiming for. The mainstream message, remember, the stuff that you get told in the gyms, in the magazines, on social media, the kind of mainstream message that we're bombarded with: work harder, no pain, no gain, push your limits, go harder, go home, feel the burn. The more must be better approach. Can you see by now how that really conflicts with actually what your body really, really needs? If you're adding more stress to an already stressed body, it's not going to work. You need to find the balance between the two. So when we're looking at those things, it's adding more pressure. You're going to end up in that fight, flight, freeze response. Especially when you get that hard-faced trainer. Why do people do that? I've never understood this. Why you get the kind of guys in their tank tops who are arms folded, just frowning. I don't get why why people choose that. I don't want to be scowled at when I'm training. I don't want to be told what I'm doing wrong. I don't want to have all my faults picked apart and told the mistakes I'm making. I want to know what I'm doing good. Likewise, I don't want some overly enthusiastic instructor telling me everything's perfect when you got a six-pack or you can do bicep curls. I don't care. It's not real. Especially the man up and get on with it people. Oh my God. If anybody else says man up and get on with it, or you just got to work harder, or you've just got to eat less and move more, I will tear my hair out. Eat less, move more, work hard, man up and get on with it. It's like telling a business that the secret to success is they have to earn more than they spend. It's not. It's such a tiny part of the puzzle. It's like telling someone who's depressed just to cheer up and stop worrying. It doesn't work. There are deeper things going on. So again, we need to be thinking, right, is this working for us? Is this making us happy? Right, I'm not going to dwell on this because I can rant on this for ages. The dark side of the fitness industry. I've been in this for 21 years now. Face value, it looks amazing. You get to exercise all day and you get to help people change their lifestyles. Sadly, there is a dark side to it. It's largely fake. I hate having to say that, but it's largely fake. So many posts are airbrushed and messed around with and filtered and enhanced that you never actually see the truth. You never actually see the real thing. It's all this quest for perfection. So you go onto people's Facebook posts or Instagram posts and you just see the highlight reel. So you're led to believe that it's like this the whole time. I know for a fact, because I coach a lot of trainers and instructors, it ain't true. A lot of guys have got eating issues. A lot of guys have got body dysmorphia. A lot of guys can never ever switch off. But when you look at their Facebook profiles, you see this perfect image that they're portraying, and it's not real. And you know what? It is judgmental. I hate this about the industry. So if you're going, I'm a part of lots of groups on Facebook, and the harshness and the bitchiness that goes on amongst trainers amongst themselves is just unreal. It's an unregulated industry. Sadly, it is unregulated, which means that anybody can set themselves up to be a trainer or a coach. It's a really sad state of affairs. There are officially 4 levels of qualification. So level 1 is like a trainee. A level 2 is kind of your typical gym instructor. Now they've probably done a week, maybe 2 weeks of training. So you're talking maybe 60 to 80 hours of learning. And they're then a level 2 qualified gym instructor. A lot of aerobics instructors, say people who work in gyms, will tend to be a level 2. It doesn't take much investment to be a level 2 instructor. You can do it within about 2 weeks. And level 3 is a bit more advanced. These guys have probably gone through maybe 12 weeks of training to be a level 3 personal trainer. And then level 4 are specialists. Now these guys have to have at least 2 years experience to qualify as a level 4. And they have a much more in-depth knowledge. To get to level 4 is really quite tricky. It's a real struggle to get there. Yeah, I'm a level 4. That's my cockiness out of the way. But just so that you're aware, there are 4 levels of trainer, right from the novice through to the advanced. We're not all the same. It's like getting your hair cut. Just because someone owns a pair of scissors doesn't mean they're a top stylist. You have to go through these different levels. So when you're taking advice, think about the experience that someone's got. If they've recently qualified, it's like getting your hair cut by a trainee. I'll say no more about it. Everyone has an opinion. There's this important. It's like politics. Everyone has an opinion. What you need to know is yours and what works for you. And if you stick to it and you know your beliefs and you work in alignment with your beliefs, you'll be golden. All right. Principles. So we need to learn to balance your own needs. You need to know, like we said before, what's happening to your brain, your body, and your social life, and we need to get all of those in balance so that you feel good about doing this. If you feel that you're lacking willpower or motivation, or you're just not feeling it, it's because you're out of balance somewhere. There's something you're missing. And trying harder, manning up and getting on with it, just doing it, isn't going to solve that problem. You need to figure out where the hole in your boat is and fix that hole first. Now, for some people, that's going to be sleep. Others will be food. Others will be stress. Others will be relationships. It's sorting that out first before you then start to push your body with exercise. Let's say, if you are feeling good and you're sleeping well, you're hydrated, you're well nourished, you're stress free, you're happy, you're chill, relaxed, pushing yourself with exercise is a great thing to do. But if you are stressed, if you aren't feeling yourself, if you're lacking energy, you're tired, no confidence, pushing yourself with exercise isn't going to solve the problem. We need to accept that we're all different. No one plan works for everyone. This is why there is no best way. Just jumping ahead a few lines there. There's no best way because we're all different. What works for me isn't going to work for you. What works for you isn't going to work for your partner. So anybody that tells you you should just do this, or you ought to do this, or just try this, you'll love it, is speaking from their own perspective for what works for them. It doesn't mean it will work for you. You need to know yourself, know you, the real you, not the you that wears the mask or bites their tongue or tries to be someone different. The real you, what makes you tick, and then fit your exercise around that. That's the sort of stuff I help people with in the coaching programs, by the way. We need to create overload. So overload is getting your body into a state where it's being challenged. Now, you know when you've done exercises before where you just have had enough, where you just can't do anymore. You can feel your muscles straining and pulling. It's not painful or causing damage, but you know you don't want to do anymore. That's overload. And that's the state that we want to get to for you to progress your fitness. And that's creating the stimulus to make changes. What I want you to think about here is like boiling water. Water boils at 100 degrees. If you keep it on the boil, it's not going to be more boiled. It can't be better boiled. It's boiling. The same with your muscles. When they're stimulated to change and they are overloaded and they're feeling the strain and the effort, you've done enough. You have done enough. So with that, take imperfect action. It's much better to take 5 minutes every day than an hour once a week. So be consistent. Don't worry too much about it being technically perfect when you're starting out. Just be consistent with your routine and your habits. If all you can confidently commit to is 5 minutes a day, start with 5 minutes a day and then build up from there if you want to. But be consistent. I say it's much better to do something every day than something once a week. Do what makes you feel good. You've got to enjoy this. This is something which I call the 3 joys. Now, I ask my clients this the whole time. The way you know it's working for you is 1, you're looking forward to it. 2, you're enjoying doing it. 3, you feel good afterwards. Those are the 3 questions you need to ask. Am I looking forward to it? Am I enjoying this? Do I feel better after? If the answer is yes to those 3 questions, keep doing what you're doing. Unless it's sat on your ass on the sofa eating cheesecake, watching Netflix. Then don't use those questions. With your food, your fitness, your lifestyle, ask those 3 things. If there's a no, then you're not aligned and you're not balanced. So we need to have a rethink and do what works for you. Say, I'm more than happy to sit down with you for half an hour to an hour and work this out with you. This is what I do. It's when I do it, it's quick, it's easy. I can really get down to it in a session. It's really straightforward once you know what questions to ask. All right, so how this is making sense. What we're going to do now is going to put on a little video. So I'm going to shut my mouth up. This is a bit pre-recorded. This is going to be covering the 6 moves that you need to master. Now, when we look at this, it's going to explain to you how there are only really 6 moves when you first start out. Remember, this is aimed at level 1 and level 2 people. If you're a level 3 pro, this is not for you. It never has been. This whole presentation is not aimed at level 3s. This is level 1 and level 2s. Stick to the basics. Do the basics very, very well. These 6 movements are the key principles to structuring an effective exercise program. When you do these 6 movements with enough stimulus and overload to change, you do them consistently and you do it in a way that makes you feel good. So with music on that you enjoy, in an environment where you can relax, in a state where you feel happy and a little bit carefree and a bit playful, this is all you need to do to get started. Remember, don't worry about it being perfect, just get started. All right, so I'm going to play this. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes for this video, so I'm going to close down this movie recording bit here, let you watch the video, and I'll come back up later. All right. Alright, this short little video is to cover these 6 main movements if you want to make your fitness really simple. Now the first one is to do a horizontal push. Now the key thing to look out for is what is happening to my hands and my body. So my hands are starting around about my armpits and my shoulders and now pushing forward. Now the only thing that's changing is the equipment I'm using and the angle of my body. And these are all different options of the same movement. So horizontal push, we then match it with a horizontal pull. Again, what you need to watch out for is the movement here. So what is happening to my hands? They're starting from away and then pulling back towards my body. That's the key thing. We need to look at how your body is moving. So the first one you're pushing away, this one you're pulling towards. It's all different equipment. It's all different options. So the only thing you need to do is to pick the one that feels most comfortable and that you enjoy doing the most. It's the same movement. With a knee dominant exercise, again, lots of options here. You can do single leg things, you can do double leg things, you can use straps or weights or bars or balls or bands. The key thing is that your knees are doing most of the movement. Most of your load, your body weight, your resistance is going through your knees. If your hips or your ankles or your back is uncomfortable or is hurting doing any of these movements, you simply substitute it for a different one. So it's not about the exercise, it's about the movement. You can make things simple, you can make things complicated. You can use dumbbells, you can be indoors, outdoors, body weight, with kit, with balls. The same thing applies here. It's your knees that are doing all the work here. Lots and lots of options for you to choose from. Okay, then we're back into what we call a vertical push. Now, this is where we're starting again from your armpits or your shoulders, but as an introduction, now you're pushing upwards. You can use dumbbells, you can use a barbell, you can use balls, you can use bands. It doesn't matter as long as your hands are moving a weight or resistance vertically upwards. We've covered this 4th movement. So other than that, it's entirely up to you what you do. As long as that weight is going up, we're covered. Now we do a vertical push. We'll come back to that in a minute. So lots of options. Some can be simple, some can be complex. If I jump back to where I was going to go. If we then do a vertical push, we then need to do a vertical pull. Not a push, as the slide says. Hands are starting away from your body and pulling you towards your body. And you can use an assisted machine. You can do pull-ups with a machine or with your own body weight. Easy to complex. So if you're a beginner, you do one. If you're more advanced, you do another one. You can use rubber bands, you can use tubing, stuff that you can do in your home or in a hotel room. You can use machines in the gym. If you look at how my arms are moving, all of these are exactly the same movement. There is nothing different. finally, we have what we call a hip dominant. So before we looked at knees doing most of the work, we're now looking at your hips doing most of the work. So again, we can do double leg versions. You can do single leg versions. The key thing is to watch what my hips are doing here. They're going back to front, moving backwards and forwards. Again, you can add complexity by doing a single arm swing or a double arm swing. The key thing is that my hips are driving the movement here. We can slow things down into a single leg balance just to add a bit more control. And the main thing that's moving is right in the middle of my hip. A deadlift, really good exercise. Good for strengthening your back. But again, the main thing is my hips are going back to front, moving back, moving forwards. Okay, so all this makes sense? So, 6 key movements. A horizontal push, where you have to take it away from your body. A pull, but moving towards your body. A knee dominant exercise where your knees are doing most of the work, a vertical push, a vertical pull, and then a hip dominant exercise. Those are the only 6 movements that you need to do for a really effective gym program. There are lots of other things which you could do, but those are the basics. So once you get a bit more advanced and a bit more committed and a bit more consistent, you can then look to vary things up and mix and match and add in more complexity. But for somebody starting out who's not quite sure what they're doing, stick to those 6 movements and you will not go wrong. Okay, makes sense? Alright, so I'm going to wrap everything up right now. I have to look to the camera, not to the video screen. So the next steps. Now, I don't want this to turn into a sales push. If you have any questions or comments or any feedback, please make a comment below. Send me a message or just get in touch and I will happily talk you through anything that you're not sure about. If you do want to take things a bit further, everything we talked about today, the balancing off your psychology, the left and right brain, the getting your head in the right space, matching it to your social life, matching it to what your body needs, it's all stuff I cover in the online coaching program. Now, this is everything you could possibly need wrapped up in your own app for your phone and a member site online. It covers your home, gym and outdoor programs. There's everything from 5, 10, 15 minute workouts up to 30 and 45 minute ones so that you can pick and choose the kind of follow along workout for whatever time, equipment and space you have available at the time. It's there in your phone. You scroll through it, you find the one you want and you push play and I talk you through it step by step. Importantly, there's a weekly coaching session where we overcome obstacles and problem solve. Now, this is every week. We speak online or on the phone and we see what's holding you back and what we can do to move you forward. And whether this is helping you sleep better or giving you more energy or more confidence or helping you manage your time more. It's whatever you need to move forward and to be consistent. Remember, if nothing else from today, you need to be consistent. You get the Clarity Goal Setting Program, so you know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing, and what you have to do to get results. There's also a core strength and back care program in there as well. You get custom meal plans, you get recipe books, you get meal ideas. Again, it's all in the app for you. It's simply a case of just click into it, find what you want. It's dead easy to find and follow it. It's so simple. And there's a really cool habit tracking software in there as well, so we can actually prompt you and remind you of what you commit to. And this is not me telling you what to do. I ask you the questions, you tell me what you want to change, what you intrinsically know you need to change, and I support and guide you to make those changes consistently and with confidence. That is the online program. So if you want any more information about that, please reach out to me. That's as much as I want to talk about it because I don't want it to be a sales pitch. But just so you know what is available if you want more help, support and guidance. Alright, that's it for today. That's it for Fitness Made Simple. So it is a rapid fire, quick overview, very quick overview of everything that you need to know. It is a massive topic. My job is to try and simplify it down to you. And hopefully I've done that. I guess it's been about an hour or so. Please let me know. Give me some feedback. I'll speak to you guys very soon. Hope you're all good. Have an awesome weekend. Catch you later.